Okay. So big tricep gain action. Tricep gains, yeah. Anyways. All right, so this video is going to be for the newbies, the guys that just started lifting weights and are getting into the groove of things and what you should be working on. So a lot of guys that get into the gym are bodybuilding motivated. And this can be kind of a trap for a lot of new guys because they're setting themselves back. What you should be working on when you're new is bench press, overhead press, incline press, barbell rows, dumbbell rows. You should be working on squats and deadlifts. Okay, those are going to be the main movements: bench, incline, military, rows, squats, deadlifts. All right, those are going to give you the most bang for your buck, the most amount of muscle built over the shortest amount of time, and the most amount of strength you can get on the least amount of time. Okay, why should you be working on these? Well, let me go ahead and break it down one by one for you. So we'll go ahead and talk about pressing. You want to avoid the bodybuilding and the isolation flies and all that in the beginning because you shouldn't be worrying about getting the shape. You should be worrying about building the strength in your chest, okay? Because without a strength base, you're going to be keeping yourself from pushing more load over over time because you could get stronger faster than you would be able to build muscle. So what's the best way to build muscle? Progressive overload, right? Or so you can tear down the muscle and it'll adapt and get bigger. Well, if you're able to handle more weight because you've built a strength base, then you can push more load for more volume and get more size. So strength first, then size. Okay. Now, as for the other lifts, well, deadlifts, okay, and squats, we'll put those in the same category. Why should you be doing deadlifts and squats? Because these movements are going to build the most amount of muscle in your back and your legs over any other movement, okay? Overall, most growth. What about the leg press, Corey? No, it does not build as much muscle. Overall, does not build as much muscle because you're not putting the weight on your fucking back and you're not mobilizing it. You're not dropping your ass to the floor and you're not bringing it back up. Okay. Versus you sitting on your ass and you unrack the weight and you're just pressing with your legs. Not as much muscle going to be built with that. Okay. Deadlifts. Why should you deadlifts? Well, if you're not going to deadlifts, man, at least do some type of clean. Okay. If you're not going to deadlift, do a clean. I guess you could do rack pulls. I'm not a big fan. I would much rather get the stimulus from a clean or a power clean. I'd much rather do a power clean because I'm just better at it. But you don't have to do a power clean. You can just hip it up to your shoulders right here. Just okay, and that will cover those muscles as well. But do something because you're always going to get more explosive results, more strength results when it comes to barbell movements. Okay, so just worry about focusing on building up that erector spinae. And that's with the cleans and the deadlifts and shit. Those muscles in the middle of your back are the ones that everyone wants. They're always talking and they want a thick back, but they never do deadlifts and they never do cleans, and so they're always gonna have a shallow back. Well, you're not doing it, so fucking do it. Basically, is what I'm saying. Okay, so also you have to have a standard for yourself. Okay, and your standard should be higher than you think. If you are hitting 405 at 180 pounds, that's great. That's good. Good for you, man. That's a good goal to reach. It took me a long time to hit 4 plates, but the difference is that I hit it at 140 pounds. So just because you hit 405 does not mean you should just stop deadlifting and start bodybuilding. You should stay with it. You should stay consistent at it because you have so much room to grow you don't even know. So just keep doing it. Stay on the shit. Don't switch up your routine. Don't do anything you don't need to do. Okay? Just do that. Stick with it. I know it works. That's why I do it every single time. Every single back day I deadlift because I know it fucking works. That's just the way it is. So if you want big results, you want the most overall size and muscle gain, you have to do the movements that build the most muscle overall. And those are the ones that you do. Okay? And um, if you're like, man, but my arms aren't growing from bench press, well, you just gotta keep getting stronger. They're gonna grow eventually. You can only hit, 225 a certain amount of times before you have to add the weight. Okay? And when you add the weight, that's when the growth happens. You gotta hit PRs, you gotta get stronger every time. And after you build a base and you have respectable numbers, then if you want to do bodybuilding or do whatever, you've built a good base. You're not going to get injured doing something like that. Most people get injured because they start doing all this isolation work, and they're trying to look at themselves in the mirror and check their body composition, see if it's proportional or whatever. Well, when it comes to function, that doesn't matter. Your looks don't matter. Okay, so just because you look proportional doesn't mean you don't have muscular imbalances, and it doesn't mean you're going to end up getting injured. So the best way to stay in the game and keep getting results is to stay away from getting injured. And you should stick with compound movements for right now. Get that shit down. And if you're making great gains, then stick with it. There's no reason to change it. No reason to change it. All right. So that's all I have to say.